Thank you to the organizer for inviting me. You have heard both of risk and benefit for the other presenters, and I was asked to bring and understanding risk and benefit. I'm also a member of the Inuit Circumpolar Council Health Committee, and my perspective on waving and understanding risk and benefit are taken from the people who eat and live by eating the whale and the seal and the food as Inuit have been eaten during many years. It's not that much about the research which already have been told about, so I will jump a little faster over some of the research things which I have in my presentation and use a little more time to talk about weighing and understanding risk and benefit. This is an old picture which show the level in Greenland of PCB. It was in the time where AMAP started, and in a way we are glad in Greenland to be a part of AMAP, because here we have the possibility to go into the international initiative, to the Stockholm Convention, to the Minnesota Convention, telling about the problem, all the things which come out to the environment mean for us living in the Arctic by eating the whale and the seal. And here we can show what happens in human if we still go on using this chemical. And some of the results from Greenland have a huge influence when PCB was demanded. And as shown, we can see that PCB today is not a problem during eating both whale and other Inuit food. But we still have to look at it, because when some things are demand, there are coming other things into the environment, and if we do not follow that, we do not have the possibility of going into the international initiative and have the possibility of demand the new things. But it also have an effect on what do we eat, because of course this knowledge about contaminant in our food have an influence to change what we are eating. And here you can see what we eat of the normal Greenlandic food and what we eat of imported food. Nowadays, most food we are eating in Greenland are coming from imported food. And here we see the change with more diabetes, more stroke, lack of vitamin, lack of iron. So we see a lot of problem due to that. But on the other hand, we also see that the level of the contaminant decrease. But of course, when we have to give advice to children and to pregnant women about what to eat and what not to eat if you don't want to get the contaminant into your body. We have to look at all the food items and look at the level of contaminant in it. But as I mentioned, why we are doing this work in Greenland is not to tell you are not going to eat the food you are used to eat. It is to go into local and international initiatives that reduce the discharge of pollutants to the environment. And here we have a very strong argument to go into that. But in Greenland, we have to, as you see, most Greenlanders eat imported food, so we have to work to secure infrastructure that promotes the use of Greenlandic food in homes, in retails, in institute, and in social setting. And we have to inform the population, and we have to make both local initiatives to increase the food safety. In Greenland, we also have some food policy. It must be possible for all the people in Greenland to choose a healthy, balanced diet consisting of safe food, of which as many as possible is produced in this country by our own raw material obtained in a sustainable way. Today, it's more important than ever. With the climate change, eat local, be local. In the corona crisis, it's important to have our own food. In the inflation we see today, it's important to have our own food. The crisis in Europe and all over the world today, it's important to have our own food. All the people in Greenland have sufficient knowledge about the food that is healthy and what is unhealthy, so everyone has the opportunity to choose a diet that prevents disease and promote a long life with a good quality of life. But we still have to tell people if they are come and ask, what can I do to get as less contaminant when I want to give birth to children? And here we have some recommendation for those that they have to be resistant with polar bear, toothed whale, seabirds, and other seals, and that can maybe replace by fish and terrestrial mammal, for instance. Here is some word from the Inuit Circumpolar Council, which is telling something about what it means to be living in a society where food is so important. The Inuit food security is multifaceted and reflective of interconnection elements such as language, child development, mental and physical health, Inuit identity, economic development and management, and for us, food sovereignty is very essential. I'm sitting in the board of nutrition in Greenland, and all board of nutrition have advices to the population. And here I will come with 3 very important advice from our board. Eat local country food and follow the seasons. This is not only food, but it's also a way of living. Collecting food preparing and eating together in the family. This is also so important in many ways, talking about why should we eat the food we used to eat. Eat often fish. There is a lot of culture and management for the family to do that. Then a few words about how we like to see the whale. We like to go out whale watching, and we also like whale as food. If you are looking at that picture, I have just here written a couple of words about knowledge, about culture, about well-being, about tradition, about economy, about sustainability, about food sovereignty. We also eat with our eyes. This is a picture from a Japanese cooking book about whale meat. But we also do some research. I have been doing a lot of research about what we already heard in the unit, the effect on atherosclerosis and the effect of using omega-3. We did an autopsy project, and during that time we asked a hunter, could we buy a whale heart to see was there any disease in that heart. That heart has exactly the same anatomy as a human heart, and to look into that heart and see the valves of the heart like an umbrella open over you, it was very, very fascinating to do that autopsy. In Greenland, we still have a passion for food. We also want to develop the food and use it in many ways. And we have this network where we invited chefs to come and use our meat and make the seal sausage, as you can see on the picture. And I will end with some recommendation which we are trying to connect the understanding and the weighing of risk and benefit in Greenland. And you can see on those that we are both talking about the risk and the benefit. And due to the benefit, there are not that much talk about what it means to live in a society where you always have been eating the whale and the seal and all the food which is a part of the local food. And I think this is so important also when I heard both the benefit and the risk situation here in the Faroe Islands. There's a lot more than just talking about risk and benefit. There are so much more in the discussion due to what are we eating and what do that mean. And it's important also to have in the discussion. Thank you.